is another one of my strange videos about cars that sort of has no reason to be on my channel, but always is. Anyway, I have a Peugeot 407, and before you go, oh, French car, etc, etc, this is a common fault with a lot of cars. Essentially, the system thinks that the fan's working, but the fan doesn't spin up. It doesn't matter what setting I put it on, the fan does bugger all. So here's the thing, it's generally, despite garages trying to charge you hundreds of pounds, possibly even thousands, to take out the dashboard and diagnose and everything, often it's down to a connector that's accessible with minor dismantlage. For instance, I had to take out my glove box, but that's because I'm a complete numpty, and in actual fact the connector that is important is just there. If you can see it with the exposure, that little white one there, and that's actually accessible without taking out the glove box. And the importance of that little connector is it's what provides power to the fan. You may note that it's looking rather crispy on one of the connectors. So essentially what would happen with this car is I could put the fan up to half speed and the fan would always work. However, I put it up to full speed. When I next came to use the car, the fan wouldn't work full stop. And so what I think was happening is that connector was overheating, and the connections were essentially, oxidizing to the point that voltage could get through but no current, which is why it was confusing for me, because I put 2 tap wires off of this connector going to the fan, and I could still measure voltage, and I was thinking, well, why is the fan not working? Evidently, it's probably down to the connector's poor connection, meaning no current but voltage. So the solution is well, there's 2 solutions, actually 3. One is replace the plug, which is going to be a monumental pain in the ass venture. 2 is to scrape the contacts, and fingers crossed that'll work. But here's the thing, look how beefy these wires are. They're monumentally huge, and then they've got these piddly little connectors on here that are barely a quarter of the size of the wires, and what that's doing is the connectors are just melting because they can't handle the current. So the third option is to bypass the connectors. So you won't be able to do it with tap wires because they're like the connectors, they're piddly. So what I'll actually have to do is get some thicker gauge wire. I'll still plug the plug into each other so that some of the current can still go through the old connectors, but it'll also have a bypass wire so that if this happens again, I can just bypass the fan issue. But really, that's it. So once again, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Just a small add-on to this video. So I just put the whole thing back together, started up the car, and it went, airbags faulty. And I was like, ah. Anyway, it wasn't that bad. Essentially, when I put the cubby hole back in, it pulled this blue cable out, and that is the airbag cable. So after rummaging around for a while, I found that loose and plugged it back in, and we're all good. So just a heads up if it happens to you. Anyways, bye.